Hey guys, we are here for something a little different tonight. We are going to, well, not we, I am going to react. I'm going to do a react video to a topic on the Doomworld forums. So the Doomworld forums, they're a message board, very old message board. I think they've been around since the late 90s. I think it existed, Doomworld itself has existed since 1998. And I think the message board started in 99 or 2000. I can't remember, probably 99. I wasn't there at the very beginning. I joined in 2004. And it's just, over the years, it's just gone sort of like society in general, further and further left and to the extreme. And it just kept getting more woke and, a lot of trans people, a lot of non-binary people. And it's really turned into a shit show of politically correct stuff. And I actually got banned there a couple months ago after 20 years, because it's 2024. I joined in 2004. So I'll talk about that a little later. But so Doomworld, I feel like Doomworld since the beginning has sort of attracted, because it was late 90s on the internet. So you sort of, and you're playing Doom, which, I mean, even by late 90s, it was sort of in old news. Especially because I feel like that's when PlayStation was starting to come out, maybe even PlayStation 2. I don't remember. But, usually people who gravitate towards Doomworld and playing Doom, the classic Doom, but yeah, we're talking about the classic Doom, are maybe not the most well-adjusted individuals. They might be a little strange or weird or loners even. I know myself, I probably qualify as a loner, and I'm fairly well adjusted, but I do probably qualify as weird as well, or strange. But these are the types of people who would gravitate towards Doom. And here we have a fairly recent thread. It was started on June 18th, which I guess, today's September 18th, isn't it? Yeah. So June, July, August, September, three months ago. Oh, so it's actually newer than I thought it was. But I'm going to react to this thread because I think it paints a picture of what Doomworld has become. I don't know, maybe it was always like this, but especially with the increase in like the crazy woke people who have poor mental health. I feel like this has just inflated these numbers. So this thread is called "How Would You Rate Your Mental Health?" This was started by someone named Fruity Lurlups. Now, by the way, this person, like 2 weeks before they made this thread, they made a thread entitled "I Want to Kill Myself." and they put it in this everything else forum on Doomworld. And it was basically them complaining about various things in their life. I don't know. I feel like this person's not very old. They're probably early 20s. And they were complaining about a whole bunch of stuff. One of them being that how they would never be a real woman, which I find, honestly, I'm just going to be honest, I find that hilarious because it's like me complaining about how I'll never be 6 feet. It's just something you can't change. That's what, that's what you're dealt. So, I mean, I'm 5. I mentioned this in my previous video. Actually, I'm 5'8". 5'9" if I'm lying, so I'm not going to be 6 feet. But here we go. So 177 members have voted. I did not vote in this. You can see I'm not logged in because I was banned. I don't think I voted in this. Maybe I did. I honestly don't remember. If I did vote, I would have voted for the first one. But how would you rate your mental health? Question. Okay, so the first one is never had a bad day. 10 people voted, 5.65%. Now, I don't know if the intention behind this guy's, like, I don't know if this guy's intention when he wrote "never had a bad day" would be literally never had a bad day, or never had a bad day. I mean, because I feel like everyone has an interesting, like when they grow up, you hit puberty and you have weird thoughts, and it's hard to sort of grow up like that. And so you would have maybe not the best mental health during those times. And that was the case for me. In high school, you have not the best times. But, you know, you grow up, and then so if I were to vote now, I would consider, you know, going through puberty and all that sort of stuff is just regular, just everyone goes through that, right? So even if you had weird thoughts or not the best mental health, that's just that happens to everyone. So after that, I feel like that's when you grow up, when you have control of your faculties and you know what you're doing with your life, I would vote for the first one. Never had a bad day. I've got very strong mental health, so that's what I would vote for. Now, I'm handling life pretty well. That sounds pretty positive too. Pretty well, yeah. They're on top of it. They have control of their mind, and so 24.86% of people voted for that. 44 people, so that's pretty good. So, and then we have the next one. Meh, could be better. Now, I sort of take this as being a negative because they're like, meh, could be better. So it could be better. Now, if it just said could be better, I don't know. I would sort of take it as sort of middle of the road, but they say meh. So it makes me think like it's worse than okay. And so if I base it on that, I would say that, let's just say 5% and 25%. That'd be 30%, so less, about a third of the people seem to be handling life pretty well at the very least. Now, so I'm gonna consider this to be a negative, and 26.55% of people voted for that. So you can see the bar is like the smallest at the very best, and then it starts to get worse and worse and worse. And then down here, this is like the extreme. We're gonna get that soon. Now, the next one, it says, I'd much rather be in a better place. So that sounds very negative as well. They'd much rather be in a better place. So their mental health is not very good at all. And that's the most. Most people voted for that one, 28.81%. And the very last one, severely at risk. How would you rate your mental health? Severely at risk. Now, I sort of take that to be, these people are all suicidal. All 25 of these people, they like literally want to kill themselves because they can't control their thoughts. That's my take on this. Now, maybe that's because of all the trans and non-binary people who are on the forum now. That's just a joke, but it's also not a joke, as we will as we will find out, because we're going to go through this. Okay, so the first one is absolute garbage after the pandemic. Okay, so that's not very good for him. I don't always suffer from mental illness. Sometimes I quite enjoy it. So that person sounds kind of crazy. Zim. Okay, I didn't notice this before. Zim. Is that a pronoun? I don't know. That's some sort of weird pronoun, isn't it? Let's see if they write anything. I've been playing since I was a kid, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, some of these people, they seem like they're non-binary or trans, but they don't make it explicit in their whatever this is called, their profile page. It could also just be a username, some sort of strange username. This one says, sometimes I feel like I have bipolar, sometimes I'm angry, but often I'm timid. I'm assuming they're not English. Okay, life is boring. Okay, a little gray boy. Oh, I want to mention this, professional procrastinator. This is something I've said before. I don't know if it's not a great idea or not, but for procrastinator, I mean, why would you write this? Professional procrastinator. Why don't you just say professional crastinator? Because the word procrastinator sort of, you have pro at the beginning. So it's like you shortened the word professional and you added pro at the beginning. So I say that to myself sometimes. I don't think I've ever said this out loud to anyone, but if you're a procrastinator, call yourself a professional crastinator. Do that. It sort of reminds me of this joke on The Office where Michael Scott says something, but I can't remember what it is. Superstitious, yeah. It's the same sort of idea when he says, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. It's the exact same joke. Okay, I need a vacation. Okie dokie. Bagelio. I think the pandemic definitely had a major impact on my work ethic. Okay. This is all very normal so far, but it sort of goes off the rails. This is a very long post. I'm not reading this. Oh, I just noticed this. Unironically uses SS soldiers. Yeah, I mean, that's true. SS soldiers, they are different, and they have their own attack that's different from the other monsters. So normally you would start with the zombie man, has a very weak attack, a very slow firing amount. And then you have the shotgunner, which is much more dangerous than the zombie man. So I've also used SS soldiers unironically, and so I would put them right after the zombie man. But they do pose a different threat, because once the Wolfenstein guys start shooting, they don't stop. They're just like the chain gunners. Once they see you, they will continue shooting until you get out of their field of view. Then they'll stop. But I mean, the Nazis are a lot weaker than the chain gunners, and shotgunners can be extremely deadly. Anyway, that's sort of going off into something else. Now we're actually talking about Doom. So this guy says improving, self-confidence going up, taking up projects even if I fully don't know a plan beforehand. Okay. Met in the normal cycle of see task, start task, squirrel, approach squirrel, oh kitty. Wait, what about the task? That reminds me of The Simpsons, where he says that dog has a puffy tail. I forget what episode that is, but it's a very old Simpsons episode. This is SpongeBob. I've never seen an episode of SpongeBob. I don't understand the appeal of SpongeBob. That's just like I made a previous video or a clip where I complain about anime, how I don't understand anime. I also don't understand SpongeBob. Like, is this a kid's show or is it for adults? I feel like a lot of adults watch it, but I feel like it's a kid's show. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Grade 27. I don't know what that means either. Absolutely smashed to pieces. Confidence at almost negative levels. That sounds very bad. Having dreams where I'm surrounded by my kind of people and can't talk to any of them. Okay, so he sounds like he's in a bad place. And now we get into June Gloom, who has the title Fight Trans Genocide by Any Means Necessary. And they have a furry avatar. This is actually, if I remember correctly, I remember reading something about them having a fursona. That's another thing I don't understand, the whole furry thing. I'm in a weird spot where I'm currently relatively happy compared to pretty much any point in my life in the last 20 years, but I also know that it's fragile. My life could fall apart at pretty much any moment. I don't feel like I have true stability. So this person's not in control of their mental health, clearly. And we're gonna get back to this. We're gonna reference this post multiple times in this video. So what I would really like to do, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to scroll back here to this. Okay, and I'm going to leave that there. All right, this one, well, my mental health sound enough that I'm not terribly willing to discuss it on a public internet forum. This guy made a copycat project of one of my projects. He's a moderator on Doomworld. And so the next one, I say, enlist in therapy today. I thought it would be terrible, but actually it is fantastic and helps immensely. That sounds like a positive, a positive comment, trying to help these people who are clearly in distress. I'm not sure what the poll results were at this time. This is, 3 months later, but obviously, considering the last few comments, it has not been very positive. And so here we get into it now. So this guy, or this, whoever it is, replies to the previous guy. Therapy is a scam. this person, Therapy is a Scam, who started the thread, who a month previously started a thread called I Want to Kill Myself. And so let's go to the next one. It's better that some years ago, but some of these people don't write very well, and I'm not a very good reader, so it's recipe for disaster. But they're not such thing like now, like stable good status on where I live, so things fight back and forth. So I can't, for example, live with the luxury of the same kind of people in other places. But this still don't broke me on a depressive stuff because of the support of many, many things on my life. Therapy helps too. Okay, so this ended up being a positive thing, even though there aren't the best of things that are going on in this guy's life. He does have positive things in his life, even though some things aren't stable, but his mental health is stable. Okay, good. Now, Leela Fuhrer. I'm assuming this is a non-binary / trans person. Neurodivergent. Yeah. I think anyone who writes that is probably on non-binary or trans or autistic, right? Chaotic neutral nerd with a hyperfixation on peculiar interests. Okay, so I guess that would be autistic. Cyberpunk horror. And it also has a girl as the avatar and a girl's name. I'm assuming it's not an actual girl because there aren't actual girls who play Doom. I mean, there are girls who play Doom, ones who were born female, but there aren't born females who post on Doomworld. Honestly, I'd be shocked if there are any who currently post on Doomworld. And they say it ironically takes broken people. We're still talking about the therapy thing. It ironically takes broken people to help broken people, and therapists are usually living on the sidelines, so they tend to be tone deaf. But I trust there's good ones if you keep trying. As for me, I'm not totally down in the dumps, but I'm not ideally where I'd like to be in life, and there are some obstacles in my path that are fairly steep, or maybe they just seem that way due to a lack of experience. Either way, I have a ways to go before I get better. And even then, trauma never truly goes away. You just try to get better at catching yourself. A significant other that understands you helps too. Now, we're going to be talking about this later as well. A significant other that understands you helps too. So maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but yeah, we'll talk about it later when it pops up again. So just remember this last sentence here. Therapists are IT support for the mind, which is to say they're trying to help, but they are educated guessing a lot more often than most people are comfortable thinking about. Same could be said of doctors. Really, any career which involves problem diagnosis and root cause analysis is going to have a fair degree of well-earned. Maybe it's this, even with all the best intentions in the world. And then on top of that, you get people who go into medical fields solely for the money or out of familial expectations, which does not tend to result in the most motivated or ethical practitioner. Now, I mean, I did mention this earlier, which I meant to mention it. Yeah, when this guy says, or girl, whatever it is, I honestly don't know if this is a girl or a guy. I mean, obviously he was born male, but I don't know what he identifies as. I remember, I'm trying to get good at slaughter wads because I'm an insane person. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to pick on this guy too much because he likes slaughter wads. But if I remember correctly, one of his previous titles here was I Don't Know What I Am. And I'm assuming he meant what gender he is or whatever. But then he did mention in his I Want to Kill Myself thread that he could never be a real woman. So maybe he wanted to be a woman. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'll just say she or they. Should I say they? They said therapy is a scam. And I agree with that, but only because therapy is up to you. It's not up to someone else. I mean, the therapist is just there to try and help you, like, change your mind, change how you think. You have to change how you think, because it's your mind. No one has access to your mind except for you. So only you can change what's wrong with you. And they're just, talking to you, trying to lead you on certain paths to try and help facilitate that. But it's ultimately up to you. So if you're going into therapy hoping that this person's going to magically make you feel better, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. I think I already said that. Recipe for disaster. I guess that's my saying for tonight. Okay, where are we? Here we are right here. Okay, my mental health is probably the best it's ever been. Awesome. I now have a wonderful girlfriend with 2 kids. Oh yeah, okay, it's this guy. I have a family now. I feel like I belong. That said, it still comes with some challenges. The kids can be a handful even on a good day. My 8-year-old in particular has, he says my 8-year-old in particular has some special needs. I'm also jobless currently, and finding a job has been a Herculean endeavor. It's also been it's also been a big bruise on my ego. Sometimes I have quite a few doubts both about my employability and my aptitude as a new parent. All I can honestly say is that I'm trying, and it seems to be working for the most part. I now have a wonderful girlfriend with 2 kids. So I read this earlier today, and I assume that this guy actually sort of hooked up with or not hooked up, but his girlfriend had 2 kids already. And so he became a part of their family. So he does say my 8-year-old. So I guess he wants to be the father. But you learn later on that the kids aren't biologically his. But yeah, he's unemployed and he's got 2 kids. That's not a recipe for success. We got a lot of recipes tonight. And so now Leela responds, your value as a husband, and he's not a husband, and a stepfather will definitely be realistically measured more favorably versus how experienced you are at helping a company look good, lol, but I get your sentiments. So this person's probably also a communist, or therapy is a scam. Sorry, I forget it's free where I come from, and the majority of the world isn't as fortunate. Also, depending on the therapist, some might be grifters, but genuine professionals know what they are doing, and my life is so much better. Okay, good. So apparently therapy is free in certain, I guess, in Europe. I don't know if it's free here. I live in Canada. It might be. I mean, we do have free healthcare. Still waiting for fucking surgery on my wrist, though. It's been 5 months. Good God. So be careful what you wish for. I mean, I'd rather just pay if I can get the surgery now. We're sort of heading off into a different area, but I was told I might need to get an MRI, and they said the MRI wait list was 4 months. And so I started looking for private MRI clinics where I could just pay to have it done. And those do exist. And so if I do need to get an MRI, I'm going to just do it privately. It's pretty expensive, but it's been 5 months. It's enough with that. So the more you play Doom or UDB, and the more mentally stable, productive, happy, and healthy you are. Sounds good to me. Just play some Doom, make some maps. Sounds good. That's a recipe for success. I specifically said recipe again. Now we have the thread starter again. You're clearly a wonderful father. So he's trying to make the guy feel better about, how he was talking about his new family and his new kids. So, okay, I'll talk about it. You're a good father and know we got your back, okay? Sometimes fathers aren't really valued these days, but just know, as someone who grew up without one, I always look at wonderful fathers with admiration. Okay, so this guy has no father, so I guess that does explain it. I mean, you need a strong male presence in your life. And let's go to the next one. This one, I don't know. What is this? Is this My Little Pony? What is the fascination with My Little Pony as well? By the way, when I was talking... Oh, no, I don't think I talked about that yet. This looks like a My Little Pony avatar. What is with grown-ass adults using a My Little Pony avatar? Now, I remember clicking on this, seeing if it had any pronouns or or anything like that. It didn't. But, that avatar makes me extremely, that avatar is extremely sus, as the kids say. What the fuck? He registered in 2001? Steel PH? I don't recognize this guy's name. Okay, I rate mine I don't even know anymore out of 10. That sounds very bad as well. All I can say is it's been absolutely rough lately. Hopefully for now, and it will pass. That sounds pretty bad too. What was the avatar on that? Oh, a gun avatar. That's good. I want to get a gun. Hopefully I can get a gun soon. I mean, I live in Canada, so we have different laws, but I do live out in the country, and so having a gun would actually be useful for, animals, and also for what? Like, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like emergencies, because I live so far out of town, if the police ever have to come here, they've had to do that before. And it takes like 15 to 20 minutes to get out here. So I like to get a gun just in case. So somewhere between a happy land with rainbows and adorable bunny rabbits and a hellscape full of anxiety. Now, I don't know if this is a reference to like the ending of Doom, the original Doom, where you sort of, it shows there's grass, there's a burning building. I mean, it looks nice and the music is very nice. And then you push your hand out of the ground and you have like a severed bunny head. I don't know if that's a reference to that or not. Okay, that guy just quotes someone else. So I suppose you're right. Not the first time I've had mistaken priorities, but yeah, my girlfriend appears to appreciate the help, and the kids are responding favorably to me too. So I guess that's all that really matters. Yeah. And the kids are responding favorably to me too. So I feel like he's in a new relationship with this girl who's got 2 kids. I'll take this opportunity to discuss a bit. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Okay, so we have another weird avatar. What the hell is this? That looks like girl hair. Dreamwalker. Are there any pronouns in this or what? Yeah, she, any. Okay, so this is obviously a trans or a non-binary person or something else that I don't even know. Oh, also a furry. I don't get it. So let's see how their mental health is. My life was darkness and chaos. Not surprising. Until 22 and in 23, it just finally got better. Okay, since 19, I've moved 5 times. Repeatedly used the help of psychologists and take antidepressants. Okay, so they're on drugs. But now I live with a wonderful partner with whom we have been in a relationship for 8 years. I finally began to know myself better and began to better understand my body. I don't know what that means. Probably some trans thing or non-binary thing, but only the past constantly reminds me of itself. The past has a stranglehold on me and won't let me go. Seems like they can't get over, what they actually are, how they were born. I would like to forget about many things, just stop feeling shame and pain. And I feel tired all the time, maybe because the drugs are on. No matter how hard I try, I can't rest. Well, this month has also knocked me out of balance. In any case, I can say for sure that now it at least looks like stability, unlike everything I had before. So I can't tell if this person is doing well or not. They're on antidepressants. I don't know if they're still on it or if they were on them. I don't know. They're having trouble sleeping. I can't tell if they're doing good or not. I don't know. I also don't know if what they voted for. Not the best, but not the worst. And still somehow a lot better than before. Good. Finally found stable employment And that shit cleared my head in a trillion ways I couldn't see before. Hey, awesome. Stable employment. Good stuff. Therapy is... Oh, okay. This guy I like. Therapy is a scam. And then this guy says, no, it isn't at all. Thanks to it, I'm still here. I said that very, very stupidly. I said, thanks to it. Thanks to it, I'm still here after a strong and deep depression that almost ends my life. Good thing he's back. And why the hell are you asking this in Doomworld? LMAO. I agree. Why is this thread on Doomworld? I don't understand. It's like just all this mental health stuff. It's like, you know, you have your Twitter people who write their mental illnesses in their bio. It's like people are, it's like they're proud of their inability to control their mental aspects of their life. You know, you should be, they talk about the stigma behind mental health, but there should be a stigma. You shouldn't feel proud about about if there's stuff wrong with you mentally. You should feel ashamed and keep that to yourself. And you should try and fix it, not just sort of bask in your screwed upness. And okay, so let's go to the next one. So this person responds to the person above. This person who has another girl avatar. Now, I don't know if these are anime avatars or what. Anyone who has like an anime avatar, I assume, is trans. I don't even know if this is anime. Firebird. I'm assuming, I don't know. Yeah, so this, I can't tell, but once again, we have a sus avatar. I've literally never used the word sus, by the way, until this video. I'm trying to connect with the younger people. That sounds really bad. I shouldn't have said that. Check which subforum you were in. I know, I'm just asking, why on Doomworld? Bro wants to make a mental health WOD? I thought that was hilarious, by the way. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone started a mental health community project. Oh my God. I made a joke WOD. What did I make it? It was like an Antifa joke WOD. And it got deleted because apparently you're not allowed to talk about political stuff on Doomworld. But it was very funny. I think what project is it in? It is in, I also forget what it was called. But it was in Doomworld Mega Project 20, was it last year or the year before? I don't remember. It was probably the year before. Maybe it was last year, I don't remember. I know I'm just asking why Doomworld bro wants to make a mental health WOD. Yes, very funny comment. Read again. Everything else means everything not related to Doom. No reason to be so dismissive. Okay, I mean, that's fair enough, but I still agree with the fact that why is there a mental health thread on Doomworld? I mean, that just gets all the crazy people to talk to each other instead of getting help. I'm not being dismissive, at least not as op spreading misinformation about mental health therapy. The WOD comment was just a sarcastic joke, which I thought was very funny. I'm genuinely asking it. It's rare to see that kind of post here, even in the sub. I 100% agree. Because usually, I mean, I mentioned before, the guy who started this thread started a thread entitled I Want to Kill Myself. And so usually there has actually been multiple suicide threads in this forum, this subforum. And they always get deleted after a while. So if this guy didn't see those, then that's fair because they do get deleted. It could be better since 2020 and especially since 2022. Okay. All right. Bad. Okay, that's not good either. I understand, yet I think it's fair to say that your original reply could be interpreted as you believe in the topic of mental health is too off topic for Doomworld. I mean, that's what I think it is. I don't know if that guy thought that, but that's what I think. Perhaps instead of using phrasing like, why the hell and LMAO, you could say something like this. Yeah, stop policing his speech. How about that? I can certainly understand why you would have this perspective. I've been a client for roughly 8 to 9 therapists in my humble lifetime. Okay, so this guy's crazy. This guy's literally crazy. I've never been to a therapist, by the way. Just putting that out there. And only one of them really knew how to push in a productive direction. Well, if you've been to a lot of therapists and they don't help, then that's probably a you problem as opposed to a therapist problem. Speaking from personal experience, therapy might not necessarily be the thing that is going to pull you out of a terrible depression. Around a year ago, I came home from an inpatient treatment center where you're appointed a therapist and live in a very structured environment with 18-something other people. That sounds horrible. Living with 18 other people? It helped me not necessarily. It helped me not necessarily be... Oh, I think there's supposed to be a comma there. Not necessarily because of my therapist, but because I was able to interact with peers who I could relate to, which helped boost my confidence. Since then, I've been seeing the same therapist I was seeing before inpatient, and I've only ever felt like I was just wasting my time while I failed to meet my own goals every day. Okay. I think if you're a mental health train wreck like me, you said it, and have a lot of problems, there will probably be seldom few therapists who would know how to help you. While there are things that help me instead of therapy, I imagine this is probably a thing that is dependent on the person. In my case, finding people that will remind me I'm loved and appreciated helps me a lot. So this guy needs validation from other people in order to not feel like shit, apparently. And I think I'm going to talk about this later, but because a lot of people feel bad if they're lonely, they're depressed if they're lonely, and they feel like they need another person so that they won't be depressed anymore. But if you rely on someone else to improve your mental health, then you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Because I think I've said that again as well. Because if that person ever, if you break up with this person or if you lose contact with this person, then you're just back down to nothing again. You have to learn to live on your own. You only rely on yourself. And then you can meet someone else and, so you're not relying on them for something. That's my point about saying that. And I think someone else makes a point about that later, so we're going to talk about that again. Jojo Bad Doom, learning, she, her. So I'm assuming this is once again a trans / non-binary person or whatever they are. Yeah, we got pronouns in the... What is that called? The custom title, yeah. Doom is a good game. Damn right it is. Not great. Yeah, not surprising. You have pronouns in your custom title, so I know you're not doing very well. By the way, check out this music. Pretty good music we have tonight. Not great. Generally feel pretty miserable, but I've been to therapy today. Someone else who's in therapy. How are so many people in therapy? I don't understand that. Started to explore some of my issues, particularly in my struggles to advocate for myself. It's given me a lot to think about and hopefully implement. Okay? What the fuck? It wasn't scrolling. Man, it could be better. Okay, if I wasn't single. Yeah, once again, you shouldn't rely on other people. I know it sucks being single, but I've been single for how many years now? It's literally been decades. It's been over 20 years. It's been a long ass time. But a lot of people can't do what I do. I understand that, but I have the type of personality where I'm fine with it. I know most people don't have that personality, but if you're single for an extended period of time, you have to learn to live with it. There's nothing else you can do unless you want your mental health to just go to shit. So you have to somehow figure a way to learn to live with it. Just like this guy said, I learned to just accept the things that are going on in my life and just move on. Good. Listening to John Romero interviews help. Old days of id Software stories. Good. Hooray. Twin Beast makes a strong impression on her toes. Okay, once again, I'm assuming this is a trans person / non-binary person. Twin Beast. Now, I don't recognize this person's name. And they joined in 2004. Doomworld lets you change your name. And it used to show you what their name used to be. So up here, there was like an arrow or something. You were able to click on it and you were able to see what their old name was. Now they removed that. I don't know if it's because I'm not signed in, but I feel like I noticed that when I was still like a member of Doomworld. I noticed it when I was still active on Doomworld. And I have a theory, I have a conspiracy theory. This might not be true at all, assuming if you were to go back, if you were to register, and if you were a registered member, maybe you could see it. But I have a theory. Maybe they disabled that because it was a form of dead naming. That is my conspiracy theory. That is my woke conspiracy theory, which is kind of it's kind of appropriate that this song is playing for this part, because this song, to me at least, it feels very sort of military. And so I'm talking about a conspiracy theory. Okay, so it's been bad after my girlfriend died of COVID some 2 years ago. Okay. How many people have died from COVID? I feel like they also had something else wrong with them. Like they were either obese or other various things. They were like really old. Now this person says girlfriend. So does that mean she's a lesbian, or is this a trans person, or is the girlfriend a trans? I don't know. You can never know anymore. The only time in my life I've been truly happy was with her. So, I mean, it's sad, you know, if your girlfriend dies. That's definitely a sad thing. Now I'm either depressed and getting nothing done, or sink into making my game the whole day and trying not to think of anything else until I go to sleep and then feel sad. That's not good. Not good. Sometimes I meet some friends, feel like they wouldn't really care if I was there or not. Later, go back home. Then I might feel more depressed than if I had been home alone all day. So this person sounds like they're sort of like a Debbie Downer to be around. I also don't really hang out with people. I'm definitely a loner. And that's sort of by choice. Once again, because of the personality that I have. But you know, if you want to socialize with people, then you have to sort of you have to give them something. So you can't just like be consumed in your thoughts, and you can't be down in the dumps the whole time. Because why would anyone want to hang out with someone like that? So that is my what's the word? My advice to twin bees, to try and be a little more positive when you're around people. Oh yeah, this is the person who ate a shitload of chocolate. During the worst time, I ate some 200 grams milk chocolate every day. Now, I read this earlier today, and I had to search for how much chocolate that actually is. That lasted some 6 months. Then I managed to decrease it a bit. Now 200 grams chocolate could last a few days, and I don't buy more right away. Also smoked for some year when I was drunk, and I hadn't smoked for over 10 years. I drink alcohol more often than before. So 200 grams of milk chocolate every day is a fucking shitload. Let's go to Google here, because I want to go to Google. Where's Google? Where's my Google? Here we go. What are we going to search for? Fucking fly. Chocolate, yeah. So chocolate bars. Amazon, this is what I want to click on. Okay, so here's a 4-pack. Like, just go to the Amazon website, for fuck's sake. 208 grams. Yeah. Okay, so this is a 4-pack of a 4-pack of chocolate bars, Mars chocolate bars. Mars are fucking amazing, by the way. Now, we're gonna go off into a little bit of a tangent here. Mars, I feel like I'm in Canada, by the way. I don't think it's called Mars in the U.S. Like there's some weird sort of thing with the name of chocolate bars. Like there's Three Musketeers. In Canada, Three Musketeers is a Mars bar without the caramel. Is that the same in the U.S.? What's a Mars bar? I feel like a Snickers bar is a Mars bar with peanuts in it. But then there's some other type of chocolate bar, and I don't know what the name is. But there's some weird sort of naming disparity going on between the U.S. and Canada. I forget why, or maybe it's not the U.S. and Canada. Maybe it's Canada and the U.K. I forget. Anyway, this is basically, this person was eating a 4-pack of chocolate bars every day. That is insane. I mean, look at this. Per one bar, 240 calories. So 4 of these, 4 times 24, what is that? So what is 48 times 2? It would be, so 960. Did I do my math properly? Yeah, I think so. So almost 1,000 calories. Just on chocolate. That's insane. Fat, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of fat, but I mean, look at the saturated fat. You're doing like 120% of your daily saturated fat just on the chocolate. And then we got sugar. 30 grams of sugar per one bar. That is like a can of soda or pop or whatever you want to call it. I don't call it soda, I call it pop. 120 grams of sugar. So this person was 100% a fatty if they were eating 200. What the hell? Oh, shit. I accidentally exited the page here. But yeah, that person was eating 4 chocolate bars a day for like 6 months. That's insane. That is insanity. Thankfully, they don't do that anymore. I mean, I do eat chocolate every day. I ate a chocolate bar every day. One chocolate bar every day. Forget when that was. That was probably at least 10 years ago. And I still had pretty good metabolism back then, so I wasn't gaining a ton of weight. But now I'm 153 pounds now. I'm 41 years old, and I feel like I'm quite fit. But I do have a sweet tooth. I do like to have some chocolate, and I mentioned before I like to. I made homemade chocolate cookies that I used to have. I used to have 2 of those a day, but I can't make them anymore because of my wrist, so I have to buy. I should have brought it over, but I get the Dare double chocolate fudge cookies, and I have 3 of those. They're small, but I have 3 of those for dessert each day because sometimes you just need your chocolate. I don't really have any other sugar in my diet besides that. So let's go to the next one. Don't eat 4 chocolate bars a day, please. If we've learned anything from this, don't eat 4 chocolate bars a day. I'd much rather be in a better place. To be honest, playing Doom and other 90s FPS games helps me with my mental health. Good. I don't know why. It just makes me feel good inside and helps me get away from life for a while. Okay, well, you shouldn't really escape life. If you're doing it to escape life, I don't know. I don't know if that's healthy to be playing video games to escape life. Ugh. It depends on how you want to escape it. If you're trying to fully escape it, or if you just want a bit of a break. I don't know. The next one. Oh, look at here. We have another furry. What a surprise. Please stop asking me if I own a fursuit. Okie dokie. So yeah, I guess they do have a furry avatar. Do they have pronouns? So they don't have an About Me page. Okay. Mine's is kind of up and down. Struggling with doing mapping at the moment. Dealing with Earl stuff and just going along with day to day. So kind of up and down. It seems like it's not very stable. I wonder if that sort of syncs up with when he's in furry attire or not. I don't know. subpar confidence, but also a go-to attitude to get by. Most days, my shortcomings aren't triggered. However, the few instances they are, they leave a lasting bad mood. Okay, that doesn't sound very good either. Loving life. Hell yeah. This sounds very positive. Princeton Tiger. Good stuff. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to start this video here. So this is the person, June Gloom, with the Fight Trans Genocide by Any Means Necessary custom title here that I referenced here. Therapy is a scam. Okay, I agree with this, but not in the sense that American healthcare is a scam, though it is. And more that therapy itself isn't actually designed to help anyone. Isn't. Oh, okay. So they say that therapy itself isn't actually designed to help anyone. Therapy is just a powerful tool for, I don't know how to pronounce that, which means, in essence, training a patient to self-police into conformity and ensuring they return to producing surplus value, manifesting in things like self-repression and a desire for authority figures. In short, putting a cop in your head. I was talking about conspiracy theories before. Managed by therapists who are paid by the hour to make unfalsifiable diagnoses. In short, therapy is a tool to train patients into embracing a police state. And crucially, you don't need capitalism for that. Many nominally leftist states and movements use therapy as a weapon against their citizens' members. So this person is literally crazy. Literally crazy person. There may be some value for people in genuine crisis, but the idea that therapy is universally helpful seems to be a self-replicating meme among patients, many of whom are unable to stop being patients, who treat therapy as an all-encompassing, I don't know how to pronounce that either, and ascribe moral value to therapy as if not being in therapy is a sign of some sort of failing. They adopt an attitude that therapy serves a neutral function within capitalism and the process of production, as if something like that could ever exist. In my experience is that the people who make that assertion are little more than cultists. Okay, it seems like you are part of a cult. Part of the woke cult, the communist cult. The furry trans communist cult. I'm not promoting alternative medicine or woo. I don't know what woo is. Or anything like that. If anything, I think therapy is alternate medicine woo. And the way therapy patients treated is very similar to how people who believe in woo, like essential oils, act. There are many ways to work through one's problems in a healthy way. Paying some nerd who can have you institutionalized on a whim doesn't seem like one of them. Okay, this coming from the person who is in a weird spot and they feel like their life could fall apart at pretty much any moment. And they feel like they have no stability. This is coming from that person who thinks therapy is a form of mind control. Okay. By the way, I'll talk about the reason I was banned. Fight trans genocide by any means necessary. So this person is an American. Fight trans genocide by any means necessary. So trans genocide, they're not talking about, third world countries where being trans or being gay is actually like you could be put to death because of that. That is literal genocide. This person is talking about being misgendered or not being given gender affirming care or, being dead named or not thinking men can get pregnant. That's what trans genocide is in the US and Canada and, North America. And then this person says, fight trans genocide by any means necessary. Like actual violence would be any means necessary, right? So this is a literal insane person. And that seems like a pretty extreme custom title to have. I don't even know why this is allowed on Doomworld. And which brings me to why I was banned. So it must have been before this. I don't remember if it was before or after this thread. It was a few months ago, a couple months ago. I forget exactly, but I was browsing Doomworld and I came across this LGBTQ community project, which I thought was hilarious. It was during Pride Month. Is there a Pride Month? What month is that? Is that June or something? I don't know. But it was during that month, and so they were going to start a community project for LGBTQ people or for allies, I guess. And each of the maps would feature like references to that. And so I clicked on, I thought it was a crazy idea for a community project. I thought, okay, this is crazy and stupid. So I click on it and I start reading the opening post, and there's, what is this called? The LGBTQ flag. So this was just one section of the opening post. There are multiple sections, each with their own title, and they have this lettering that has the rainbow flag in it. And so I'm like chuckling to myself as I'm scrolling this guy's opening post. And then I get to this part. This part was at the very end of the post, and it says, PSA, anything you say can be interpreted as the worst possible message. So be careful about anything negative you have to say, as it can and will be misinterpreted as hateful, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. So it's basically saying that whatever you say can be interpreted in the worst way possible. So it's up to you to be careful to only say positive things, because if you say anything negative, then people can take it to the extreme worst case possible, and it will make them feel horrible, and because you're promoting hate. Examples. Instead of saying strange, you should say, this looks like a unique community project! ! Strange isn't even a hateful comment. I like using strange to, I use that as a positive adjective. That's an adjective, right? I'm not very good at English, even though I speak English. That was my worst subject in school. But I like to describe things as strange, often things that I like, but also things that I don't like. It depends. So if you're triggered by the word strange, that's pretty funny. If you're playtesting any of the maps, give solid advice instead of saying, this map sucks. I mean, you can if you want, but if people don't like a map, then they say it sucks, then who really cares? No hate allowed towards the LGBTQIA plus community, please. And then, I don't even know what this stuff is. This is just some more, this looks like a child, a furry child or some shit. It looks like, it looks very sus. But I saw this PSA, and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous, because this person is saying, it's sort of like a disclaimer that you're not allowed to criticize this project because it's going to be interpreted as being hateful to the LGBTQIA plus community. So you're not allowed to criticize this, or else you're a bigot, or you're transphobic, or whatever. So I laughed at that to myself. I never posted in this thread, by the way. Never posted. I laughed to myself. And then so I start scrolling down the thread just to see what else is in the thread. There were several comments. And I see a couple furry avatars and pronouns, and then so I just laughed to myself and exit out of the thread. I don't post in it. So I saw that, and then I shouldn't have closed that, but I closed it. And then I don't know how late after that. It was pretty soon, maybe the same day or the next day. This is in a different thread. So there was another thread where this guy had discovered this trick where on one of the console versions of Doom, one of the newer console versions of Doom, where if you save and then reload, you can change the Doom guy's Z height if you're standing on a ledge when you save, and using that allows you to pick up all the secrets in map 15 of Doom 2, because normally you can't trigger all the secrets in that map because there's a bug. Because the secret is too narrow, and then there's a step right behind the secret, so you end up going on top of the step before you can actually stand on the secret sector. But if you use this trick, you sort of you go on the step so that the center of Doom Guy is in the secret sector, even though you're not actually standing on the sector because you're standing on the step. But if you save and then you reload, it will change your Z height of the player, of the Doom Guy, to the secret sector's floor height. And then you're able to trigger the secret, thus getting 100% secrets. So he discovered this, and he was super excited about it. And he started a Doomworld thread, and he tagged a whole bunch of people, and he was very proud of himself. And, people started responding saying, okay, well, they were saying that, this had already been found out a lot, like back in the 90s. And that, if you're recording a demo, because that was a big deal with recording the demos, to do a max demo, you need to find all the secrets. You need to trigger all the secrets. And so for years, there were max demos on Doom 2 map 15 that weren't actually max demos because they couldn't trigger this last secret because it was untriggerable. And so normally when there's an untriggerable secret or like a monster that you can't kill, you can avoid doing those things and you can still get a max. But then it was discovered, I think Zero Master discovered that you can trigger the secret if you sort of lure a pain elemental over and a lost soul hits you right near the secret. And so that was a way to trigger all the secrets. But this guy said that you could use his strategy where you save and reload. But people mentioned that you're not allowed to save and reload in demos. So that strategy, you can't even do that strategy for the demos. And the saving and reloading was already discovered back in the 90s. And so he was starting to feel bad about himself because he was so excited about it. And he was thinking that, everyone was being negative and, and sort of ganging up on him. People weren't ganging up on him. They were just telling him, they were giving him information that apparently he didn't know. So, and it just got to the point where he kept responding and complaining about people, like bad-mouthing him, even though they weren't. He was just completely overreacting. So I had seen the PSA of, what I just showed you, the PSA. And so I had that on my head. And I said, and so this guy, Dasho, he replied a couple replies before me. He said, aside from the nobody cares and not special things, which didn't happen, what do you want instead? To be lied to and told you are the first one to discover this? Which I completely agreed. And I quoted him, and I replied to his perfectly legitimate question. I said, it's our duty as a modern society to shield people from potentially harmful truths. Apparently. Maybe he should have put a PSA at the bottom of his thread, like the Rainbow Community Project did, to make any negativity against the rules. And so I was joking. That was like a shit post. I was being sarcastic. I wouldn't say I was being hateful. I was just being sarcastic. Because our society, these days, it's our duty as a modern society to shield people from potentially harmful truths. I do agree with that, but I was saying that in a sarcastic way. And then I said, I, for one, am very excited that this trick may become more well-known to all filthy casuals who save load. Thank you, legendary Eevee. Okay, so, I don't know, you might think that this is a little harsh for me to call people filthy casuals who save and load. Like, people who save and load are filthy casuals. I legitimately do think that, because often on Doomworld, there are often threads where they talk about saving and loading, and how people, and whenever these threads pop up, the saving and loading threads, whenever they pop up, I try to always make a point of saying that you're not a serious doomer if you are saving and reloading all the time. You have to at least play through the maps without saving, so that you can experience it when you do it all in one go. Because saving and loading is a lot easier, because you can save and you can retry in the middle of a map, and it's much more. You feel much better about yourself if you're able to get through a map without saving. You feel much more accomplished and more proud of yourself. And so I always say those things in the saving and loading threads. And meanwhile, there's people always say, well, it's my choice if I want to save or not. It's in the game. Why can't I do it? And that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm saying you can't do it all the time. If you want to be a serious doomer, you can't save and load all the time. And so I do believe people who save and load are filthy casuals. Now, I'm also saying this sarcastically, because if you've watched any of my other videos, my 400 videos where I'm playing through id games, I'm saving and loading all the time, because that is my casual play style. In my casual play style, I save and load all the time. And then if I want to be serious about playing, I play through and I record a demo in one go without saving. So I mean, my post was quite sarcastic. It was a shit post, but this whole thread was a complete shit show because of the opening poster. Instead of saying, oh, I didn't realize this was already known, he started complaining that people were ganging up on him. He was being a real bitch about it. And it was turning to be a really funny thread. And so I tried to make a funny post. So I made this post. And I got banned for this post. So I got banned, and this was the email I got. The reason was for edgelording. Edgelording. Banned for 1 month. It's unsurprising to see you whining about a troll's derail attempt being removed from an LGBTQ thread. A temp ban has been deserved for a while. This is merely the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, so I don't really post that often on Doomworld. I just mostly lurk. So I don't understand why I was deserving of a temp ban for a while. But this opening sentence here, it's unsurprising to see you whining about a troll's derail attempt being removed from an LGBTQ thread. I literally had no idea what this even means. So, but I sort of surmised what it meant. Did I use that word properly? I assumed, I read this and it made no sense to me at first. And then I thought to myself, okay, what could have happened? And I'm assuming that in that other thread, it's the picture that I deleted, or that I closed, with the PSA on it. I'm assuming that there was a troll who went into that thread and was derailing the thread. But I didn't see that. I didn't see the comment, the troll's comment. I had no idea about that at all. All I saw was the PSA. And then I scrolled down a bit and I saw the furry avatars and the pronouns, and I clicked off of it. So I guess I probably wouldn't have been banned if so apparently a troll was trying to derail the thread, and the troll's posts were removed. And so I think the mods thought that I was criticizing them for removing the troll post, even though I don't even know what they were. Being removed from an LGBTQ thread. So, okay, by the way, I'll give you some more backstory here. You can see my custom title, Born Troll. Okay, so a few years ago, Doomworld didn't let you change your custom title. It was given to you based on, normal message boards. You make a certain amount of posts and you get a default ranking, like a custom title. But a few years ago, someone started a thread where they complained about their custom title because they were acting like a dumbass years before, and so they got a derogatory custom title, and so they complained about it, and they successfully got the administrator to let you write in your new custom title. And so shortly after that, people started writing their pronouns in their custom title. And I thought that was so fucking dumb. And so I wrote born male as my custom title. So if they're allowed to write their pronouns, why can't I write my birth sex? I didn't see a problem with that. And so maybe that's what they're talking about, where I've been deserving a temp ban for a while. Because one of the reasons why Doomworld has been, I don't know if I talked about this already, but Doomworld has been like steadily going downhill because of its wokeism and all that sort of stuff. And one of the reasons is because one of the prominent moderators is turned into a trans person. And then more new moderators have been trans as well. So they're stacking the deck. And so I think they took that personally where I wrote born male. I'm assuming they did at least. But it seems funny that people are allowed to. And so I didn't write this, by the way, born troll. I forget when that was added. I forget why and when that was added. But, I remember now. It was an absolutely hilarious thread. That actually had to do, it had to do with something else. I'm not going to talk about it, but I got into, a lot of people were defending this guy who posted a thread complaining about someone on YouTube who complained about them for how they were playing some WOD. They were using like free look and jumping and then so they complain on Doomworld about this YouTube troll who was complaining about how they were playing. And then so a whole bunch of people were writing saying, oh, you're allowed to play however you want. Doom is for everyone and all that sort of stuff, And then I was saying, I agreed with the YouTube troll because I agreed with everything the YouTube troll was saying. And so I was being I was countering what everyone else was saying. I wasn't being a dick about it. I was just being honest. And that's when they gave me this. So the mods gave me this custom title here, Born Troll, but it used to be Born Male. And then, so that's what I think. So they banned me. And then while I was banned, I was on Doomer boards and I posted that I was banned on Doomworld and I posted screenshots and whatnot. And then what happened after that? Oh yeah, I complained about, what did I complain about? Unsurprising to see you whining about a troll's derail attempt. Okay, straw that can... Something else happened. In my Doomer boards post, I probably should have brought it up on the screen here, but I talked about this. I said something about this. I forget exactly what I said, but I complained about this. Fight trans genocide by any means necessary. Because there is no trans genocide in North America. And then after that, some of the mods on Doomworld, they also lurk Doomer boards to see if anyone badmouths them. And then they banned me for that. And so, reason trolling, banned indefinitely. And they said the note was, genocide is violence. Saying fight genocide is not violence. You disingenuous buffoon. So what did I say exactly? Genocide is violence. Saying fight genocide is not violence. I wish I knew what I said. I was complaining that they were saying fight genocide by any means necessary. Yeah, I complained that this person was advocating for actual violence. Meanwhile, trans genocide is not violence when it pertains to North America. And so then whoever, I think I know who it was, but fight genocide is not violence. Genocide is violence. Yes, genocide is violence, but trans genocide is not violence in North America. Anyway, so that's why I got banned. I feel like that was way too long. So did I read all this? I'm not promoting. Yes, I did. Yeah, so this person who wrote all this was the same person who wrote this, whose life could fall apart at pretty much any moment, and they don't feel like they have stability. So let's keep going. Meh, but still could be much better. Okay, so that's like the middle of the road one. Now this person again, that was not the best thing you could have said in the op situation. Okay, whatever. It's basically about as good as it could be. for being essentially alone. Once again, you shouldn't rely on other people. In other words, it's not really hanging by a thread, but the amount of motivation I have to improve my living situation doesn't really exist. Lady Miss Dragon, patron god and goddess. I'm assuming this is another trans person slash non-binary person. I don't think they write it. Oh, she, her, yeah. Definitely. 100%. There's no way. Opera was about to... Opera was about to blow up there. So yeah, speaking about trans genocide, these are the people who thinks this is the same type of people who think speech is violence.
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So
pregnant.
you are denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn.
Oh my God. Now, I wish I left that open because there was something I wanted to... Oh yeah, she said that 1 in 5 people... trans people have attempted suicide or they feel suicidal or something. And she says it's because people don't recognize that they exist. But, my theory is that it's because they hate themselves. Because they're in this body that they wish they weren't, they wish they were in a different body. So they look in the mirror and they hate how they look. They hate how their body functions. They hate themselves. And so if you hate yourself, you eventually want to kill yourself. So anyway, that's my theory on how so many trans people are, depressed and suicidal. So let's go over here. We'll continue on the thread. Being single isn't the problem most of the time. Okay, here we go. We get another good point here from this guy, Mystic Spider. Being single isn't the problem most of the time. There's to be something else in your life that makes you feel like that. You need mental stability by yourself before planning to get in a relationship. A partner is supposed to be the one who compliments you, not the one who fills your gap. This is exactly correct. This is exactly what I feel. Written absolutely perfectly. You shouldn't rely on someone else to improve your mental health. You should fix that on your own. And that way, when you get into a relationship, you guys can be in a relationship without having to worry about the mental stability, without that visiting your mental health problems on someone else. Partner is supposed to be the one who compliments you, not the one who fills your gap. Exactly. And then here we go. The crazy person again says, so you're saying that people who have mental health problems aren't deserving of love? Oh, God. Now, deserving? I wouldn't write the word deserving. I would change deserving to ready. So you're saying that people who have mental health problems aren't ready for love. That is my opinion. In my opinion, like for me as a person, if I knew someone had mental problems, I wouldn't want to be involved with them. Like even as friends, I wouldn't even want to talk to them, interact. That's the word I'm trying to think of. I wouldn't even want to interact with a mentally unstable person. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Do you mind if I ask how? Wasn't the virus itself, the lockdowns? Okay, so they're talking about COVID. Regarding therapy, you have more options than just paying for a professional therapist, and sometimes a professional therapist won't have the tool set to help you. I mean, that's true. When I lived in the U.S., I helped start a men's support therapy group. I want to talk about this too. Me and a bunch of random strangers I had never seen before met every 2 weeks in a park, threw a ball around, and talked about our problems. Now, throwing a ball around is so fun. Oh my God. I haven't done that in so many years. I don't even know when the last time I did that was. It's probably when I was in high school, or when I was in even before high school. But oh my God, it might have been after that. But throwing a ball around, like you have a baseball glove, you have like a tennis ball or a baseball, and you have people, two guys standing away from each other. You throw it, you catch it. The other guy throws it, you catch it. I mean, it's so fun. And then you just keep getting further and further away from each other. You throw in like really long ones. You throw hard. You throw pop-ups. You throw you get the guy running. You make him like back when I was a kid. Me and my buddy would do that. We would have we would throw each other like diving catches. So we would throw it away from the guy, and the guy would have to run and then dive in the grass to catch it. It's so much fun. Oh my God. I wish I could do that again. I haven't done it in so long. I don't even think I have a baseball glove anymore, but I need someone to play catch with. I guess that's one of the bad things about being a loner. You have no one to play catch with. It reminds me of when I was a kid as well. I played tennis for a couple years, and the tennis club was in this gigantic park that was near my school when I was young. This was in grade 5, I think. Maybe it was even in grade 6, I forget, but so the tennis club, it had a bunch of tennis courts on it, and then so there was a big park with a big open grass, and then the tennis club was sort of on the side on one end of the park, and then behind the tennis clubs and behind the park, there was a whole bunch of trees. It was a wooded area, and it was very hilly and very high terrain behind there. And so on one side of the tennis club, on one of the courts, was this big ass cement wall, because on the other side of that was the elevated ground from the hills. And so there was this big ass retaining wall on the side of one of the courts, and it was very fun to just play with yourself, to hit the ball to yourself. I wish I could do that too. I haven't played tennis in so long either. That's like one of the things I wish I could do again, to play tennis. Anyway, I just wanted to read that because of tossing a ball around. I remember actually, I'm going to talk about this. I think I was 17 at the time. When I moved back to Newfoundland, me and my friends, we smoked a joint, and then we were just walking around the neighborhood, and we were walking. I think there was some sort of community center, and there was a baseball diamond in the community center, and there were these people who were having a game of softball, and they asked us if we wanted to play, and so we were we had smoked a joint fairly recently before that, and we ended up playing a game of softball with them. And before that, I hadn't played, I used to play baseball all the time when I was younger at school, but I hadn't played in a long time, and so I was looking forward to playing again. And so I think I got to hit, I think 3 times, and I was looking forward to absolutely just smacking a homer, because I was a really good hitter back then. And every single time I did it, it was a grounder, and I got a single it was like between third and shortstop. It was either between it was between the shortstop and third baseman. I hit it there all 3 times, the exact same. And I remember being disappointed in myself, because I was trying to hit a homer and I only hit 3 singles. And I remember one of the guys who we were playing with, he said, I was very consistent after my 3rd single. Anyway. So let's go to the next one. It's actually not, you may not think you're being okay, here we go. So this guy replied to this quote that I thought was very good. The Mystic Spider quote. Oh no, this was an earlier quote. Okay. It's actually not. You may not think you're being dismissive, but your comment can be interpreted quite easily as being tactless due to its tone. If you don't really understand, you're quite free to simply move on to another thread and let a discussion lie. Okay, well, I mean, he's allowed to make his comment there, I think. So there's really no need for this comment. No, but probably the worst one on earth. Constant stress for no reason that keeps coming back. That's only 1% of my mental health. The other ones, no, not talking about it. Okay, that sounds pretty bad too. DT user, I don't know what DT is. I cannot quantify my mental health in rational numbers. That sounds pretty bad as well. Durian, so this guy is replying to the crazy conspiracy theory post. There are many forms of therapy, and many of them do not obviously fit the crude generalizations that you've sketched here. I'm not interested in having a discussion, but I encourage anyone who thinks they might benefit from some form of therapy not to be discussed, not to be dissuaded by posts like these. Yeah. So, people who are recommending therapy are recommending it for these people who are clearly in this thread who are not having a very good time with their mental health. So, and then you get these other people who are also not having a good time with their mental health, saying that therapy doesn't work because, they're unable to fix themselves. Yeah, so I don't know if I said this, but I think it's you're the only one who has access to your mind. It's up to you to fix yourself, to fix your mental health. You have control of your mental health. No one else can help you. People can try and guide you in specific directions, but it's up to ultimately it's up to you to stop feeling the way you feel. Now, I know people who are depressed, when they hear things like, "Oh, just stop being depressed," they don't respond to that because how am I supposed to stop being depressed? They don't know how to do it. But in my opinion, I think people who are depressed, they let themselves be depressed. Now, I know people who are depressed aren't going to like me saying that either, but I feel like, when you're depressed, you're sort of stuck in this hole, and it's just easy for you to fall into the hole and to stay in the hole because you're used to feeling like that. Your thoughts are used to, your brain is used to doing that. And so it can be hard to get out of that, but it's just easier to go back in there. So, but ultimately it's up to you to change how you think. And sure, it's easier said than done, but it can be done, and you just have to figure out how to do it. Okay, so this is a good guy. He got banned. Dasho. So I was here. Dasho made this post and I replied to him here, but this was a different thread, obviously. But he's clearly a well-adjusted human as well. This is not even what the person... So he replied to... So you're saying that people who have mental health problems aren't deserving of love. This is not even what the person you're replying to was trying to say. If you have mental health problems, a potential partner, one, deserves for you to be treating your mental health at best you can prior to seeking a relationship and not conflating the dopamine rush that comes from a new relationship with the cure. Obviously, yeah, that's very, very well said. And two, deserves to have full disclosure about your mental health issues so that they can make an informed decision about committing to such a thing. Exactly. Like I mentioned before, I would not commit to someone who has mental health issues, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. So, but yeah, completely perfect thing to say. Okay, so now we have the opening poster coming back. I think people don't empathize enough with mental health sufferers who've had a negative, I'm assuming, experience with therapists. I've seen 6 different therapists, once again, not surprising, and each have just made me wasting my money. If you've had a wonderful therapist, I'm happy for you, but every time I mention that therapy hasn't worked for me, I'm told to shop around. Therapy is the modern conventional. Well, I mean, once again, I would argue that if you've been to a lot of therapists and they don't help, then it's probably a you problem. You know, they're just trying to help you. But if you don't want to be helped, then there's nothing they can do. It's the same thing with people who are addicted to drugs or something, or alcohol. You know, if you want to be helped, you can be helped. But if you don't want to be helped, there's nothing anyone can do. 1,000 plateaus. I don't understand what that means. I'm sorry to hear that, but it would be a mistake to generalize from your one case to the conclusion that therapy is a scam and a waste of time for everyone. Likewise, it would be a mistake to generalize from a successful experience to the conclusion that it's great and will work for everyone. You need to take a broader view if you want to determine the effectiveness of any form of therapy. There's a large scientific community that's geared towards doing just this. When it costs as much as it does, it's just not worth it. I mean, yeah, that's fair to say. If it's really expensive, then it's probably not worth it. So if you can't afford it, then, I mean, that's a legitimate reason to not go to therapy. But ultimately you shouldn't need therapy. You should just fix it yourself. But if you're desperate, then yeah, I mean, there has to be some form of therapy that you can do without paying a lot. Like, I know, you know, therapists tend to be really expensive, at least on TV shows that I watch that are sort of set in the U.S. I don't know what the Canada. I'm not sure if. I mean, it has to be provided for in Canada. Like, mental health stuff must be provided for, I'm assuming. I had a negative experience with therapy around the age of 18, but I know people who had the opposite, and they certainly don't live with cops in their head, like one post here implies. That was a hilarious post, by the way, which is quite frankly insulting to me, insinuating that people with therapists become mindless drones, reconditioned to become fully reliant on therapy in order to survive. Yeah, exactly. I've seen the same thing said about Alcoholics Anonymous, that it doesn't work, and everyone in AA becomes fully dependent on the program for life. Nobody I know in therapy or AA, or even the military, has been reconditioned to such an extent, and I only know of one person who remained in therapy after they felt their problems were solved well enough to get by. Honestly, some posts here come across as though people don't want to empathize with people who had success with therapy. It's very simple. It works for some people, it doesn't for others. Very fair post. Very fair post, yes. He writes depressed asshole, so obviously his mental health isn't very good either. If I remember correctly, I think he did post earlier on, and he did say that his mental health was not good. But I mean, what he wrote here was perfectly, there's a word I want to say, but it's perfectly fair. I don't think fair is what I want to say, but that does portray what I want to say. Anyone who takes issue with what I said earlier in this thread, I recommend you read a book. I've been to therapy multiple times across multiple therapists since I was a child. Not surprising. It did nothing but gaslight me. And the kind of people who push therapy as a cure-all tend to be like my former best friend, a raving narcissist who went to therapy to learn how to be a worse person. I will never forget what they did to me and how they used therapy lingo to justify it. Okay, did your old best friend not accept you for being trans? I don't know. This is a very generous reading of what someone who has been very dismissive of this entire thread was saying. And to be honest, I don't think said reading is accurate, but I'm definitely fine with not debating it. He can explain for himself if he wants. It's a literal reading. If you go back, so he was talking about the guy who said that you should, be in charge of your mental health before you get in a relationship. You shouldn't visit that onto someone else. And this person says it's a very generous reading of what someone who has been very dismissive of this entire thread was saying. And to be honest, I don't think said reading is accurate, but I'm definitely fine. Okay. I mean, he already explained what he said. So it's a literal reading. If you go back and actually read the post, you have to be careful not to confuse how a statement makes you feel with what it is actually said. Yeah, this definitely seems like someone who lives by how they feel as opposed to what is actually happening. This doom gloom person, I'm trying to say. Please don't patronize me. You need mental stability by yourself before planning to get in a relationship. That's a perfectly fair thing to say, and a very common sense thing to say as well. Is pretty cut and dry in its meaning and implications. It's the implication. I understand that you have it implies that people who have mental health problems don't deserve love. This is what the person said earlier. I understand that you have a different interpretation, but it's not mine. No, I would say this doom gloom person doesn't deserve love. I will definitely say that. Not all mental health people don't deserve love, but doom gloom doesn't deserve love. Again, I'm fine with not debating it until and unless he can come in and explain it for himself. He already explained it. I think people really got to realize that tritherapy is a deeply patronizing, presumptuous, and naive reply to someone facing mental health issues, and to just stop saying it. Okay, so people are supposed to not recommend therapy because other people who have tried therapy multiple times and they haven't had success get triggered by it. Okay, that makes sense. Presumptuous and naive reply to someone facing mental health issues, and to just stop saying it. I genuinely mean it. Unlearn the conditioned response in yourself to recommend therapy when someone talks about their mental health issues, and don't get high and mighty when someone gets upset over it. You don't know if they've already done it, if they can afford it, their access to it, their history with it. Okay. Well, you know, if someone is asking, or if someone says they're, I mean, this is just, these people, the people who are suggesting therapy aren't really, I feel like aren't necessarily responding to specific people. It's just because there's a lot of people in this thread who say their mental health is not very good. And so other people are saying you should try therapy. And if someone's tried therapy, then all they have to say is, I've tried it, it didn't work. But these people are triggered that they're being asked to try therapy. If it is so cut and dry, please explain where it is cut and dry that someone doesn't deserve love if they have mental illness. Once again, doom gloom does not deserve love. The simple act of recommending therapy to someone suffering from mental health problems is a reasonable and responsible thing for a friend to do. Exactly. Much better than the burnt out, just try LSD, shrooms, weed, trust me, bro, people I encounter on a regular basis. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it would be very beneficial. Try drugs. Now, I guess like medications are also drugs, but you know, if you go see a therapist, you might not necessarily get on drugs. You would be talked to first. And that's coming from someone with a 15-plus year history of depression and drug use who had zero benefit from therapy. It would benefit you more to unlearn the conditioned response to get angry at people trying to help you and instead say, I already tried therapy, it didn't help. Okay, this guy literally said what I just said. Very good. Here we have crazy person again. It's kind of right there in the text, fam. Oh, the implication is right there in the text, fam. Meanwhile, you're the one who extrapolated things that weren't actually said. He never said anything about disclosing your mental health status to a prospective partner. In fact, well, that's true. He didn't say that. He said it was up to you to fix yourself before you get into a relationship. In fact, he's arguing fairly directly that you should be mentally stable before getting into a relationship, which just isn't possible for a lot of people. Well, too bad for you. If you have mental problems, that's your problem. It's not other people's problem. Now, this is just another thing where people think their problems are everyone else's problem. It's not. If you have problems, it's your problem. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. It's not other people's problem. It was like that for how many years? And now all of a sudden, everyone's problem is everyone else's. Makes no sense. It's kind of right there in the text, fam. It says that someone with mental health issues doesn't deserve love, right in the text. It's fine that you interpreted it that way, but it really does not state that. Also, stability does not mean you have no mental health problems. Like any other medical condition that can last a lifetime, it is about treatment and management. Again, if that's how you want to interpret it, that's fine. But I would really rather not argue about it any more than we already have. Okay. Well, just do shrooms about it is obviously a much worse suggestion. It doesn't make "have you tried therapy" a good thing to say. So asking someone if they tried therapy is apparently bad. Okay. I cut people slack if they don't know me. Well, yeah, no one knows you. But at this point, anyone who knows me, no one knows you. And my history, no one knows your history. Knows better than to suggest it. Okay. Can't that end up creating an echo chamber, though? I think you are acting a bit defensive here. I read it more as hurt people thing. You can have a mental illness and love others. I know damn well I want to find love someday, but I am self-aware enough now to know not to turn my mental health problems into a baggage for whoever I like. Thank you. That is a very thoughtful thing to say. We have Leela again. Someone with longer experience who's been there versus someone who may not have been, it should be have been. There as long as, me being a stupid English person, even I know that it's supposed to be have instead of. To be fair, that if you just hear people say that, like, not of. So if you hear people say not of without reading it and realizing that it's NOT apostrophe VE, if you just hear people saying it, you would think it's not of. But somehow I didn't fall into that trap over the years. I don't know why. Because I'm not much of a reader, so. Though I do read message boards, so I guess I'm somewhat of a reader, but as long or is as good at holding it together can be better at counseling. Someone with longer experience who's been there versus someone who may not have been there as long or is as good at holding it together can be better at counseling. Okay. I felt like shit before starting therapy, and now I'm feeling slightly less shit. Okay, that's an improvement. If this improvement keeps up, I'm going to have to say that therapy can work, depending on the therapist, and also depending on yourself. Definitely depending on yourself, yeah. Yeah, you can also be your own barrier as well, and at that rate, you're living in a bubble of pain. Having a mental illness for a long period of time does not make someone qualified to give life advice to someone that has had it for less time. By that logic, I'd have to hear Kanye's advice, and he's not very mentally sound, in spite of him being a good artist. As long as you don't follow Diddy's advice either. It's actually pretty funny. Didn't Diddy just get arrested, like literally today or yesterday? And he was denied bail? I don't even know the Diddy story. What happened? Like what did he get? Did he get arrested for sex trafficking or something like that? I fucking hate rap. Rap is so stupid. By the way, it's the act of rapping. That's what I hate about it. The music, I find the music can be interesting, but the vocals of rap, I think they're so dumb. You can call me racist if you want, but I can't get over it. I think they're so stupid. So this guy deleted his post. Simple act. How did we start talking about rap? Were we talking about Diddy? I don't even know what back in my day, he was named Puff Daddy. I don't even think I know a Puff Daddy song. I feel like he was on a soundtrack, a movie soundtrack, and I forget what the movie was. It was a popular movie. I don't know what it is. I bet it was Batman. I think I'm thinking of the Batman soundtrack. Now, I don't know if he was actually on there, but I think what I'm thinking of is the Batman soundtrack. One of the Batman Men soundtracks. If there was a Batman in the 90s, I don't know if there was. Now, okay, I know there was like an older Batman movie, but I don't know if it came out in the 80s or the early 90s. I can't remember. I've mentioned this before. I don't care about superhero bullshit. Do not care. Do not care. On point. Therapists are human. There's good ones and bad ones, and sometimes it's about finding the right one for you. That's true. 33 out of 10. So I guess that's their. How would you rate your mental health? 3 out of 10. So 3 out of 10 is pretty bad. DJ V Card Master. I always, whenever I see this guy's name, I think it's funny. V-Card Master. All right, so this is a very long post. I'm not going to read all. Holy shit. What the fuck? This guy wrote a novel. Okay. Okay, so now they're going back and forth. You're good, my man. Okay. I don't know what this means. Generally uncool, unrad even, bogus if you would, unemployment, isolation, oppressive heat. It actively feels like an oven outside. Boredom and having to cut off a close friend for brain-damaging stupidity and self-centeredness. Yeah, things aren't going so good here. I don't know what any of that means. Now, I wonder where they are. Oppressive heat. I was using my fan earlier. I don't even know if it's in frame, but I turned it off because it's not really necessary right now. It technically is still summer. It's September 18th, which I guess we have like 3 or 4 days left of summer. Between work and gym and 2 hours wasted to traffic jams after this stupid city, it feels very boring and not what I want to be doing. Considering cutting down gym time to the absolute minimum just so I have more time for drawing and games. This lifestyle might be... Why did I put a space in between life and style? This lifestyle might be better, healthier for a normal person, but for me, the daily repetition is insanity. Driving. Okay, I feel like... should there be a hyphen there? Insanity driving, and feels like I'm wasting my time. I like doing the same thing every day. I like routine and just like doing the exact same thing every day. I'm so into that. So we basically only have one page left. This is the last page. Page 5 is very short, so the video is not going to be too much longer. So the wheels can come off any day now, and if it happens, I won't have a backup plan this time. Okay, so that guy's in dire straits. This guy was registered in 01. This guy is actually a moderator. He's like I don't know if he's not a member. He's a moderator. I think he moderates one of the forums. I don't know which one, but he's been here since 2001. So that's a negative post. I've got my share of brain problems. That's not good. But I'm pretty sure my current ailment is shit life syndrome after a string of life-altering disasters between 22 and the present. However, I'm able to lift myself from severely at risk to a more manageable. I'd much rather be in a better place, thanks to my old friend Spite. Okay, well, still, that sounds pretty bad. I'm 41. I've done everything I want to do, will ever be able to do, and just want to go. Okay. So, take that sentence. I actually feel the exact same way. I'm actually also 41. So, I can steal that guy's sentence and feel the same way. I'm 41. I've done everything I want to do, will ever be able to do, and just want to go. So, I mean, I relate with that. Just want to go. I'm not at that point yet, but I mean, if my wrists don't get better, then yeah, I mean, there's really no point in me living anymore, because I'm literally, the last 5 months, I've literally been a useless person, a useless human. But yes, I mean, for my case, I've also done everything I want to do. Will ever be able to do? No. I mean, I still have other goals, but I feel like a lot of my goals I've accomplished. I'm happy with what I've accomplished. But yeah, I mean, I do have other goals as well. But I mean, if I got hit by a car tomorrow, I'd be completely fine with it. But it seems like this guy literally wants to die. So I think it's not dying I'm afraid of, it's living. Yeah, so this guy is definitely in a bad place. Our public health system is in tatters, often rated worse than many African countries with doctors and nurses that have had experience there. It's not dying I'm afraid of, it's living. Okay, it's pretty dark post there. I don't know what the hell this guy's name is. This guy was also an old guy, 06. Well, obviously he's 41. I have bipolar, but I'm currently medicated. I went through a long time of being in and out of psych wards and basically being unemployable. However, now I've done about 5 years of therapy. My nose is so itchy. It's ragweed season right now. So I got through grass season, and now it's towards the end of ragweed season. Almost there. Where did I end up? However, now I've done about 5 years of therapy, and I've found the right medicine for me, and I'm celebrating my second year at a job that I don't hate. Good. Things with my partner are going good. And apart from losing a close family member, that sucks. Earlier this year, I'm mostly pretty stable and functional. Good. The only downside to the medication I'm on is that they make me a bit lethargic and slower than I used to be. I find searching for the right words to be difficult, which is something I've never had an issue with. That's kind of funny because I have that issue all the time, searching for the right words. Like, if anyone's watching any of my videos, I do have a hard time speaking. And it's not because of medication. It's just because I say this jokingly, but it's because I'm stupid. I'm not very good with my words, I find. If you compare me right now, or even at the end of my video series with, I need to take a drink, with how I was at the very beginning, there's quite a noticeable difference. I was much slower. So, I mean, I consider myself right now to be speaking a lot better than I did at the very beginning. I find if I really try and rush myself, then I can speak a little better. I was about to say a little more better, but that would have been even stupider. Did I just say stupider? Okay, so yeah, this guy talked about sleeping, I think. Being creative is also harder than it used to be. Ideas used to flow out of me with music and writing, and now it takes so much energy to be creative that by the time I've started something, no, okay, this isn't the guy who talked. Someone talked about sleep. I wonder if we're going to get there. I don't know. I was feeling pretty good in life, but then my girlfriend broke up with me out of nowhere. Okay, that does suck. Wasn't expecting it at all. So now I feel a bit broken. Yeah. I mean, I can relate with that. You know, your girlfriend breaks up with you, then you feel pretty shitty, that's for sure. Dog, I don't even need to answer that one. If you know, you know. I don't know what that means, but is this person a furry too? Like, what's going on? What kind of flag is that? That's some sort of weird flag, right? Is that a trans flag or some shit? They don't have an About Me page. Karl Marx. So is this guy a Marxist or whatever? I mean, looks like is that a furry? Or is that just some type of anime type of person? I don't know. That is definitely some sort of weird flag in the background though, right? Not surprising that they have that their mental health is not very good. My teens and early adulthood ranged from could be better to severely at risk. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do, some more than others. Some teenagers don't have a problem at all. So, I mean, it ranges for people. But since my early 30s, I've been pretty stable. I'm handling life pretty well. Good, because that was the second highest one. It was life couldn't be, or never had a bad day, and then I'm handling life pretty well was the second one, which was a positive one. So that's good. I think a stable job, finally getting an apartment, and raising 2 funny kids have done wonders for my mental health. Good. Who would have thought? Now, I don't know if I'd recommend having kids for someone who has mental problems or mental health issues. Not ideal. I feel like just like getting in a relationship, you should sort of work on that before you do those things. But at least this person is on the right track. By the way, this person, 88 miles per hour, she, her. This is the person who started I deleted it. I forgot about that. The LGBTQ community project, the Rainbow Community Project that I made fun of earlier in the video with that crazy PSA. This was the person who did it. This post is crazy. Please just mother, father. The reason so many more people have autism is because our knowledge on mental health is so much better than it was in the 80s and 90s. Just take me to the doctor, please, and stop saying I shouldn't speak out my opinion because I am a political minority here. I think that high school juniors should not be saying that gays and furries should deserve to die. So how about you? Okay, I don't know what the hell this guy's saying, or girl, she, her, but I'm assuming it's a male, born male, biological male, born male. I could say that. I am a political minority here. I think that high school juniors should not be saying that gays and furries should deserve to die. So I'm assuming this person is quite young. I think it was now. When I made fun of this person's PSA, I didn't think they would be young, but apparently they're like in early high school. And I mean, I stand by with what I said, but I wouldn't directly attack someone who's like really young. And I didn't even directly attack them because it was in the other thread. I didn't post in their thread. I posted in another thread when I made fun of the PSA. But do I think gays and furries deserve to die? No, I don't think that. Now, I just think they should like keep that to themselves. Like whatever happened to keeping stuff like that to yourself. Like no one cares about if you're a furry. Like most people don't want to know about that shit. Even if you're gay too. I talked about this in a post recently. When I went to high school, I went to 3 different high schools, and I literally didn't know anyone who was openly gay. This was in the late 90s. Literally nobody was openly gay in my high schools that I went to. Now, you have like trans people and non-binary people. Not even taking gay people into account. Like, we don't care. We don't want to know. For all of you, find God. This isn't going to turn out well for this guy. Your mental health will improve a lot. Now, I'm not forcing anyone to religion, but you'll probably be better off. I mean, that's a fair thing to say as well. I mean, at least in a video game form, people who do this, who recommend God, finding God, they will probably get made fun of for that, because most people I feel like who play video games are atheists or, anti-religion type of people. But I mean, it's a fair thing to say. I mean, there's a lot of things about religion, certain religions where they have a lot of good morals. And I feel like if you learn about those morals, it should help in your overall life. So your mental health. I myself, I'm not religious, but I do, I can definitely relate with a lot of the morality stuff. And it's kind of funny. Like I watch a whole bunch of conservative, like right-wing videos on YouTube, and I agree with like everything they're saying. And all these guys are hardcore religious people. So it's kind of funny that I'm not really religious. I wouldn't say I'm not an atheist either. I guess that makes me agnostic. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's go to the next one. So yeah, I mean, people do reply to this guy eventually. My mental health, plurb, 90s CGI. Now I don't know what this is. Is this person one of those other people as well? Oh yeah, they, she. Okay, so this is another non-binary person. There's probably a bunch of I don't even know how to describe that. Non-binary people, right? Or they have pronouns, so maybe there's something else. I don't know. I'm not privy to the ways of these people. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like in school these days when you have to deal with these kind of people. My mental health fluctuates wildly from day to day. Not surprising. I'm at my happiest when I have a lot of creative energy, such as right now, and I'm making things I'm genuinely proud of. But when I get even a little burnt out, I'm less able to distract myself from the issues that plague my life, and I can get horribly depressed. Okay, well, that's not good, getting depressed. Some of my issues are out of my control entirely, but a lot of them are caused by my own mental problems, especially anxiety. As for up above, this guy, I was raised a Christian, but I became an atheist a few years ago. I'm much happier, despite, being horribly depressed sometimes. Well, relatively happier for it. Whether religion improves someone's mental health or worsens it depends on the person and the way they approach religion, I think. I don't necessarily have a problem with religious people as long as they don't think non-believers, LGBT people, etc. are sinners who should repent or go to hell. So I'm assuming that maybe their parents, since they were raised Christian, didn't really approve of them being either trans or non-binary. And so maybe they became atheist, or they became atheist for a different reason. But I don't necessarily have a problem with religious people as long as they don't think non-believers, LGBT people, etc. are sinners who should repent or go to hell. I feel like at least a lot of religious people would think that non-believers are sinners. LGBT people 100% are sinners. Should repent or go to hell. I mean, etc. are sinners who should repent or go to hell. I mean, that's pretty strict religious. Sinners. I mean, if you're super religious and you can interact with someone who's not religious, I feel like that happens all the time. I mean, back in the 90s, they were like crazy. Some crazy religious people, they were thought of as being the crazy people, and now you get into this area of people where the extreme left are the crazy people, and the religious people are the normal people. It's really strange what's happened. Becoming an atheist and later adopting some pagan beliefs did a lot for my mental health. Yeah, this coming from the person whose life could fall apart at pretty much any moment. So this is Graza. He's another old guy. He's literally old. God damn it, man. I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his 50s or his 60s. I'm not sure which. I think he's definitely not in his 40s. But, he joined in 2002, 22 years ago. I've had several interactions with him. He's a demo recorder, so I interacted him with recording demos and stuff. I don't know. The only times in my life he's an atheist. And the only times in my life I've been even slightly curious about religion, or indeed any form of evidence-free mysticism, have been times when, with hindsight, my mental well-being was slightly less than ideal. In answer to the Threads question, pretty solid and stable, I'd say. That's what I assumed. He strikes me as the type who would be mentally sound, bewildered that so many things are wrong in the world, especially anti-science, anti-freedom, and even anti-basic fact. But that's not quite the same thing. It doesn't cause me to question my own sanity. Yeah, so I'm just curious here. Now, I thought that he was... Maybe I just assumed, but I thought he was like fairly liberal or left-leaning. I don't know why I thought that. But, this part right here, bewildered that so many things are wrong in the world, especially anti-science, anti-freedom, and even anti-basic fact. I wonder how he feels about the transgender movement. That's what I'm curious, because I don't think he's ever talked about it. I think he is I'm just wondering, he might not be, but I think he might be still be. Actually, I don't think so anymore. Back in the day, he was a moderator for the demos forum, subforum, but I don't think he is anymore, because I think Dew took his DEW. That's another guy. I think he took his spot. But I'm just curious how he feels about Doomworld being this woke cesspit. Cesspit? Is cesspit a word? All I'll say in regards to this is that religion ain't really a broadly applicable catch-all remedy for mental health and shouldn't be considered as such. I ain't saying that it can't do good things, but there's no way to know the pre-existing relationships that people have with religion or the limitations of its actual effectiveness when applied to unique individual situations. Just bear that in mind. Yeah, I'm assuming, like, especially the people who are trans and non-binary, they're definitely not religious. And I feel like the vast majority of people on this website aren't religious. Obviously, the guy who suggested religion is religious, but I feel like the vast majority of people on Doomworld and video game communities in general are not religious. Okay, this person, once again, we have a weird, like, I don't know. I think I clicked on this and I don't know. I don't think they have anything. Yeah, they don't have any pronouns, don't have anything that would let you know. But this is another sus avatar. I mean, that looks like a child. I don't get it. Some cartoon avatar. I don't understand it. Anyway, they write a huge thing that I don't think I'm going to read. I am functionally stupid. Okay. Yes, the idea is you don't ask skinny people how to lose weight. You ask the people who were fat like you and lost weight. So that's replying to someone with longer experience who's been there versus... So that's basically people who have had mental health issues helping people with mental health issues. Yes, the idea is you don't ask skinny people how to lose weight. You ask the people who are fat like you and lost weight. Okay, well, if you want to lose weight, just stop eating so much. It's that easy. Skinny people can tell you that. I mean, I can tell you that. But I mean, I wasn't fat, but I definitely weighed more. I was 200 pounds and I'm down to 153. I did get down to 131 all on my own. But yeah, you just got to change what you eat. I feel like I wanted to say something else about this, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, skinny people and fat people will tell you the same thing. Just stop eating so much. I like when people say this as though my lack of belief in God is some kind of choice or character flaw. No, I just am not convinced. Even if there was an overwhelming statistical evidence that being religious improved your life, I would still not be religious because I simply am not convinced of the claims of religion. Okay, well, you're the one who started this thread. You're the one who's literally suicidal. So, I don't know, maybe try religion. Because clearly whatever you're doing isn't working. So, I mean, one of the reasons... it's sort of hard to believe in, creationism, how God created man and all that sort of thing. I mean, it seems pretty far-fetched, right? But then you get the theory of evolution, which seems equally far-fetched. Is the theory of evolution that we just sort of, we started as a pile of goo and we just evolved into beings and like, is that what it is? Like, I know we evolve over time, but is the theory of evolution that we started from like the primordial ooze? Is that the idea? Because that just seems like that doesn't seem real. Like, how long would it take for ooze to turn into like something that could actually walk or slither? Or I feel like it would take way longer than I don't know. It's hard to believe. It's very hard to believe. Oh. So whenever people talk about evolution, I'm maybe even more skeptical about that compared with creationism. Honestly, creationism sounds more plausible than evolution. Strong 5, light 6 out of 10. Okay, so like right in the middle. This thread is getting funnier each time I see it. I barely read it, by the way. Okay. My mental health is getting much worse as time passes. That's not good. Very good. Hooray. We have another guy, someone who's doing very good. 4 days of gaming at night without sleeping. Okay, that's not good. Today, CBD, Japanese food, beers, and good music. I will go to bed at 20 hours or later and sleep tonight or maybe not. I am testing another time my stamina in an hardcore way. Okay. So 4 days of gaming at night without sleeping. You should get your sleep. You should get your sleep. You should get enough sleep. Some people don't need a lot of sleep. Some people need a lot of sleep. You should get enough sleep. So this person is a weeb, and they have some sort of sus avatar again. That looks like an anime, some sort of young girl. Why do people put young girls as their avatar? That is disgusting. I don't get it. A weeb, what is that? That's someone who likes some Japanese stuff, right? Oh, God. I want to cut my head open and see what's wrong with it. I don't think you'd be able to see what's wrong with it if you cut it open. That's a very long post. I'm not going to read that. Doom out of 10. I wish of a beautiful dream for tonight, the Dark Ages. This guy just posted, so I don't know why he's posting twice. August 26th, and his other one was August 26th. Okay, same day. Once again, we have an anime avatar. This one actually is very well endowed in the chest area, the chesticles. Some good days, some bad days. Though I will add that between 2012 and the end of 2019, one of the lowest points of my life. Okay, I was just some insecure teenager. Okay, teenagers. I mean, a lot of teenagers have bad problems as they're growing up. All right, so let's go to the next one. Dark Master, unbothered. Hooray, moisturize. Hooray, moisturize. Being moisturized is good, right? Happy in my lane, focused, flourishing. 6 points, excellent. My mental health is almost completely non-existent at this point, to be honest. And I think I utterly despise myself the most out of anybody right now. Yeah, so obviously this person is in a bad spot. Voidette. So does the et mean that it's a girl or what? I remember looking on this person's page, seeing if there was anything. Yeah, there's no pronouns, nothing like that. So I don't know, but they are very in a bad spot, a very bad spot. I only live because I can't commit suicide. That'd be too much pain. Okay, so this guy is absolutely in a bad spot as well. The endless heat is kind of melting my mental health, to be honest. So this person who was complaining about therapists and this person whose life could fall apart at pretty much any point is so fragile that even the heat can melt can melt their mental health. How many times did they post in this thread? I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. Was in a shitty spot for a while, but now things are beginning to looking up. Good. I'm right now trying to not be so damn isolated. Good. I don't get out nearly enough. Nearly never right now, actually. That's fine. I mean, you don't have to. I wish I get more than... Oh, yeah, this is the sleep one. I wish I could get more than 20 hours of sleep a week, too. Oh, well. At least I'm still being productive. I don't think I need much sleep. Really, I consider myself lucky if I get 3 to 4 hours a night, with maybe a fitful one hour nap sometime during the late day. 20 hours of sleep is crazy. That's like that's less than 3 hours a night. That is, I don't think that's enough sleep there, buddy. Now, when I was doing my video series, I was getting, did I just speak there? I'm having a lot of trouble speaking. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I went to sleep around 2, sometimes later. Not often did I go to sleep earlier. And then I always got up at 7:45. So 5 hours and 45 minutes. But I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. On the weekend, I would try and sleep in if I could. Other times I couldn't because I was checking my antennas. Sometimes I had to get up really early because I wanted to check my TV antennas. But Yeah, it's not much sleep there. Bass Slapper 89. It's actually Bass Slapper 89, as we'll find out here. Mentally, it could be better. I currently work at a warehouse. Okay. I've been here. Yeah, where's the part where they talk about their eczema? Yeah, I've been there for about a year and a half. I developed eczema, allergic to latex gloves. We make fiberglass pipes involving toxic chemicals, which made me break out on my hands and parts of my body. Yeah, eczema is not good. I get really dry hands in the winter. I've talked about it on my videos, on the video series before, and it gets to the point where, okay, I'll just keep talking about it. It made me go through depression, which put my modding to a halt, and unfortunately, playing music. As a bass player, it hurts when you have dry, cracked hands. It's a slow process, but it mentally brought me down. Yeah, so if you have dry, cracked hands, and you play bass with your fingers, then yeah, that I can see that being very painful, and you're unable to play. Now, I had the same thing when I was playing drums. You know, my hands would get so dry that they would crack, and then they would bleed. And you play drums, and you know you'd be bleeding, and you'd be making the cracks worse, and they wouldn't heal because you know your hands are just so dry that they won't heal. And so I basically had to stop playing drums in the wintertime. The pain, unfortunately, made me lose motivation. I know there's fans out there who want to play the 5th episode of... Okay, my apologies for the delay. All right. I'm doing okay. Games and music are helping a fair bit. Also helping keep depression in check. The lack of local friends doesn't help since I moved upstate in late November of 22. After living downstate in the same place for 28 years, I'm 42 at the moment. So I'm kind of isolated since Best Bud recently moved to Florida, but another lives a couple hours southeast of me. Feels good to get off the island, though. It feels good to get off the island. And he talks about, or he or she, I don't know. They talk about, where is it? Upstate. Moved upstate. So I'm assuming they mean upstate New York. And if they say getting off the island, do they mean Long Island? Do they live on Long Island? Staten Island? That's a thing too, isn't it? Now, I did click on this person's thing, and they did write something. What did they write? Formerly a long-time Doom player, mapper, and modder, runs inactive. No, why did I think this was one of those people? Oh, right, the avatar, the furry avatar. That's why. Now, I don't know if they always had this name, because it doesn't seem familiar. But they were here since 2002, so how many posts do they have? A lot. They have a lot of posts. I'm assuming they changed their name. I don't know if that's true or not. All right, so we're on the last page. Hooray. Wet and Wild. Okay, is that good? Is that bad? I'm not sure. That looks like the MLB logo. Chase C7527. Okay. My nose is driving me crazy right now. Okay. I don't really have any mental issues that I deal with on a regular basis, but for the people that do, just know that there are always people. The coyotes are howling right now. I have the door open. I don't really have any mental issues that I deal with on a regular basis, but for the people that do know, that do just know that there are always people who can help and support you with whatever you need. Whether it's talking to family or friends or talking to people who you can trust, there will always be people there to help you. Okay, that was a positive, reassuring post from Shindig. Goat Avenger. Just going to go random here. Okay, so we have a couple videos to watch now. I watched this earlier and it was fucking hilarious. Now, this is Jonathan Frakes. He obviously played Riker on Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation. Now, he was on, this is him from a TV show that he hosted, some sort of paranormal show that I forget what it was called. I don't think it was Sci Factor, something of the paranormal, Tales of the Paranormal or something like that. I don't think that's what it is. Maybe it is, but it was some sort of paranormal show where he would talk about things. strange things happening. Apparently, this is a montage of things that he said. And I thought it was hilarious.
Have you ever walked out of a mall into a huge parking area and realized you'd forgotten where you parked your car? You ever gone mountain biking? What do you want to be when you grow up? What's the right tip? Have you called a plumber to your home lately? How superstitious are you? How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery? Would you display this as a trophy? Do you have a pet? Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you believe in the power of a curse? Have you had your hearing tested lately? Planning a trip soon? Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen? Do you ever wandering beneath a clear blue sky? Have you noticed what big stars real estate agents have become? Are you careful with your personal records? Does your computer ever seem to have a mind of its own? Have you ever visited a Chinatown section in a major city? Have you ever visited a flea market? Have you ever visited a truck stop? Did you ever have a job as a waiter? Have you noticed how many successful...
He was clean shaven there.
Restaurants are theme-based these days? Have you ever had the desire to write your initials in wet cement?
Oh my God, I thought that was hilarious when I first watched it today. Good stuff, good stuff. It's not my intent to make light of the serious tone nature of the thread. I just find humor can help sometimes, even if it doesn't solve anything immediately. But yeah, that's a very, very funny. Man of Doom. Given how things are going so far, I'm looking more and more it's looking more and more like a matter of when and not if my brain is going to end up running into a brick wall going at 100 miles per hour. That's not good. Hooray for burnout I'm forced to go through by everyone around me. Edit, in all seriousness, as bad as things are right now, at least I have my therapist to help me through things. Not only that, today's pretty much just one of those days, and yes, I'm doing okay. And then this is the last post, Helium Lamb. I don't know what kind of, that's anime too, right? Now, when I watched this earlier, not this guy on the left here, I recognized him.
It is happening again.
I recognized him from Portlandia, and I was trying to remember where he was from originally.
It is happening again.
And I remember that, I think that's the guy from Twin Peaks, right? Now, I haven't seen Twin Peaks. And then I thought to myself, is this clip from Twin Peaks? I'm not sure. I've never seen that show. But I've seen him in something else as well, but I don't know what it is. But I did see him in Portlandia. Portlandia is a funny show. But yeah, there you go. Helium Lamb, like, what's up with the anime avatar? Let's go to the next song. Yeah, okay. Not sure. You alone can destroy all pyramids. Okay. And there's your thread. There's your mental illness thread. So I don't know. I guess I wanted to react to that. I'm not sure why. I'm going to do some other reaction videos. Hopefully they're not this long. This was a very long reaction video. But I'm going to do some more reaction videos. So until then.